This simple fruity tiki cocktail has a bit of a twist because it uses rye whiskey. Let me show you how to make a Rye Tai. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt, I'm the whiskey nerd, and like I said, this week I'm making a simple classic tiki cocktail that uses whiskey instead of rum as the base spirit because I'm making a Rye Tai. Now, everyone who's familiar with tiki bartending should kind of know about the Mai Tai. It's one of those classic staples of tiki bartending, and this, the Rye Tai, shakes up a little bit. It changes the ingredients a couple of different ways, but most notably it uses rye whiskey as the base, giving it that fun little name, the Rye Tai. This rye whiskey I've got here comes from the Koval Distillery in Chicago. It's an organic rye whiskey. It's a 100% rye whiskey, and interestingly enough, this one was finished in a Peach Brandy cask, which I like using in these kind of fun fruity cocktails because it adds that rye spiciness that you'd expect from a good rye whiskey, but also a little bit of extra fruitiness that does translate and balance well in cocktails that use a lot of fruit juice. Speaking of fruit juices, this cocktail uses two different types of fruit juices. It uses pineapple juice and lemon juice to kind of add a bit of extra sweetness and also a bit of those kind of bright, fresh, kind of tropical flavors you'd expect in a tiki cocktail. It doesn't use sugar syrup, but it does use Orgeat syrup, which is this kind of like slightly spicy, sweet almond sugar syrup that goes really well in these kind of classic tiki cocktails. It also will use some Angostura bitters, but not in the cocktail. The Angostura bitters go on at the end, kind of like as the garnish for the cocktail. But that's enough talking about the cocktail. Like I said, it is nice and simple, so let's go ahead and make it. We're gonna get our shaker tin ready, and we're gonna pop a nice rock of ice into there before we add in the rest of our ingredients. We're gonna start off with our rye whiskey. Like I said, this is from the Koval Distillery in Chicago. It comes in at 47% alcohol by volume or 94 proof, so it does have a nice amount of weight for cocktails like this, and we're gonna go in with 60 ml or 2 ounces of our rye whiskey into our shaker tin. Next up, we're gonna go in with our kind of sweeter ingredients. We're gonna go in starting off with our Orgeat syrup. We're gonna go in with 22.5 ml or 2/3 of an ounce. So if you don't have a precise measure like this, you can go in with like 20 ml. It should be fine, but if you have a precise measure like this, it's 22.5 ml or 2/3 of an ounce. We're gonna go in with that same amount of our pineapple juice, just nice and simple into there. Like I said, it is a simple enough cocktail because a lot of the ingredients go in with the same amounts, because our lemon juice is gonna go in with the same amount, 2/3 of an ounce or 22.5 ml of lemon juice, just into there. That was very simple. We're just gonna pop the top on our shaker tin, bang it down and shake it away for 20 seconds, just get everything nice and cold and mixed. Okay, I can see from the outside of my shaker tin that this is nicely chilled, so we're going to get ready to strain it out. We are going to be straining it out into a highball glass that's filled to the top with crushed ice, and that's going to give us a really nice kind of presentation for the cocktail when we add the Angostura bitters up on top, and it'll also keep the cocktail really nice and cold as we drink it. So we're just going to pour it away, nice and simple, into there, just the top of our glass. But like I said, we're not done yet because we're going in with our Angostura bitters. Normally for cocktails with Angostura bitters, you can only go in with a few dashes, maybe 2 or 3. For this cocktail, the recommendation is between 6 and 8, so I'm gonna go for 7 dashes of Angostura. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's gonna sit on top of the cocktail. It's gonna be very strong, maybe on your first sip, but as it kind of bleeds into the cocktail, as it gives you that kind of flavor in the cocktail, it's gonna give you a bit more of a rounded note and kind of give you a contrast between the Angostura bitters and the more fruity, sweet notes of the cocktail. And that right there is how I make a Rye Tai. Now real quick, before I taste this cocktail, if you're new here, scroll down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. I put out cocktail recipes featuring whiskey every Friday, and I put out whiskey reviews every Wednesday, so if you want to see more like that, make sure to hit subscribe. And I can see that the bitters are already starting to kind of bleed down the cocktail, and if you want, you can of course stir it in, but I'm gonna have a little sip first without stirring it, and then another sip with stirring it to see how it changes. Cheers. Oh yeah, you do get a lot of the bitters up front, but it's backed up because it's got that crushed ice in there. The crushed ice definitely gives it like a bit of a kind of almost like a filter, because you get a lot of that pineapple, the lemon, the orgeat, and the whiskey coming in behind it. Give it a little quick stir, and those bitters will kind of diffuse throughout the cocktail, maybe making less of a immediate bite of the bitters, but still giving you that kind of layered effect when serving your cocktail. Gonna go in again. Definitely more of the pineapple, more of that rye, more of the almond as well. As I swallowed it, got a little bit more of the almond, that orgeat. It's kind of a subtle flavor, but it's definitely there. Almond is kind of almost like a subtle flavor. When it's combined with the pineapple, the lemon, the whiskey, the bitters, it can kind of fall to the background, but there's enough of it there that it does kind of shine through and you do get to taste it. All in all, very good, very classic cocktail. Even though we are heading into winter, doesn't mean you can't enjoy a nice summery tropical drink. So I'm gonna keep on enjoying this, and I will see you next time. Sláinte.